Okay, I'm back. So I had to make some adjustments, but that's okay. They want me to rotate my phone. I'm not going to do it because this is a better shot, the wide shot. And of course, you can see my sweater and represent the WU, the first historically black private college and university, or college university for HBCU. So here we are. I am trying to finish my dinner. If you were with me earlier, you saw I made that quick and easy, scrumptious, delicious vegan coleslaw, which is in my refrigerator. It's been sitting a while. So now I'm going to, first time you guys heard the story, I bought this over my air fryer about a year ago. I bought myself one, my sister one, because that was the rave. So I went ahead and jumped on that bandwagon, and I bought an air fryer, and I never used it. So I'm bringing it out today. I got a couple of minutes to play with before I have to go and live life to the greatest and get ready, for work. So I am bringing to you again. You've seen before how I did my vegan chicken. I'm just going to change it up just a little bit. So the things I'm working with, and I want to go ahead and jump in the air fryer and see what it does. It told me to do for like 10 minutes, 5 minutes per side at 300 and I think it was like 380 degrees or something like that. I'm going to play along with it because I like my stuff crispy, and we're going to see how it do. But everyone that I know that have one, that's been using one, loves it. We're just going to see if it's a big rave for me. So the first thing we want to do is to go ahead and put all my dry ingredients in, because I'm going to cook this just like you do a regular chicken, but this is vegan. And of course, if you didn't hear my story or you didn't see my little post, I did find my oyster mushrooms. Some folks must have run out of their $600 because they stopped buying mushrooms. But I did buy at Whole Foods like $1.40 more than I normally would pay for them. But I've been trying to get this vegan chicken out my system. So I'm going to go ahead and bring it to you. So I'm going to add a couple new ingredients to this recipe because I'm already always playing with my recipes. But I found in a kosher aisle seasoned cracker meal. It's non-GMO, no MSG, and zero trans fat. So I'm going to be using a little of that today, and that's how it looks. I'm going to pour it in. Now, because a lot of these seasonings, and then of course my King Arthur, it is the white whole wheat flour. I'm going to put that in there. Don't ask me about measurements. I'm going to say it's about a cup and a half or something like that. But you see how pale it is? Now, when I was eating chicken over some 30 years ago, the seasonings, the flour and the mixture, it didn't look like this. This is a little pale. So I'm going to help it out some. And I'm going to help it out by doing this. I'm going to add some garlic salt in there. And I'm going to go ahead and put some garlic in there, because I love garlic. You know, I grow my own garlic. I use the garlic for medicinal purposes also. Save the seeds. Let your garlic bolt. Save those seeds and utilize that. Definitely use that. I'm going to use my onion powder. Go ahead and throw my onion powder in there. Now, people are saying, did she wear that sweater? This is a continuation, baby, from earlier. I had to make a run. I was trying to do a quick trip this weekend on a little very inexpensive airline. So I had to go to the counter to see if I can grab a couple of tickets so I can be out of here. I can, run to the beach for a couple of days since we're going to be celebrating Martin Luther King, nonviolence. I wish everybody take note, hint, hint, to nonviolence activities. And just to see if I could grab some tickets right quickly. And then, of course, my pink Himalayan sea salt. I'm just going to add some of that to there just to kick it up a little bit. I'm gonna let you see how that looks so far. You see that it's not as pale anymore. And then I'm adding my white pepper. Add some white pepper in. I have a little cousin. He cannot even stand to look at the regular pepper, so his mom normally has to cook with white pepper. So I'm just gonna, for him, I'm gonna put that in there. Of course, I have to have my paprika. And the paprika adds color. It adds a beautiful color. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw the paprika into there. And I have some cayenne pepper. See it? And I'm going to add that on in there also. That's going to give it a little kicky spice, right? And then, now Old Bay. Old Bay is for me. People use Old Bay for everything. They swear by Old Bay. So guess what? I'm going to put some Old Bay in here because everybody swear by it. To me, Old Bay gives me in the mind of seasoning salt without as much salt. But I'm going to put the Old Bay in here. All right. And I'm going to let you see how that looks. You see that color starting to pop? Yes. And then I'm going to add a little soul. Just a little soul to it. And just soul up and flavor this up, this vegan recipe I have there. And then my nutritional yeast. I'm going to use some nutritional yeast in this deal. In this meal also. So I'm going to add that in there. I'm going to let you see how that looks. See how beautiful that is. And so those are the ingredients I'm going to use thus far. I'm going to just go ahead and whisk this all together to get it evenly blended. And if it does not have the color I'm looking for, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to add some more seasonings in, because I didn't use all the seasonings that I have portioned out. But I want to make sure that this tastes. Because for me, I believe everyone that cooks says, if your flour does not have enough seasoning in it, then your chicken is going to come out bland. So the chicken will be making all the work to bring out all those flavors, but I'm not dealing with chicken. I'm dealing with my oyster mushroom. So it's only so much that a fungi can do, right? So I got to go ahead and help it out. And I'm just going to add all this because I just like the color that brings out in here. So there we go. I'm going to add all that in there. And of course, a little more sea salt into there. And then a little more onion. Can't go wrong with onion, right? Pretty much. All right. So I'm going to mix that up. Probably a little more so. Now, the salt has a lot of salt in it. So you want to be careful when you add salt. The salt seasoning. Let me put it like that. Because you'll be like, you got a lot of salt. And you got a lot of salt. No, baby. It's the seasoning. And then a little of the nutritional yeast into the dish. Now, I know in my last video, it was fun. It was festive. Beautiful coloration. And it was delicious. I thought I was going to add some pineapple to it. But after I tried it, I didn't need any pineapple. It was just perfect as it was. So I'm going to finish whisking this some more. And then I'm going to show you how it looks. Because this is my dry mix. See how beautiful that is? See how much more color it is in there? So we add all those ingredients together. And then I'm going to put that to side. Because I introduced to you all, I think it was like last week. Oh, I do want to put a little of basil in here. Just a little basil. And I have some dry herbs I got to go through because I dried them from my own garden. I got to go through and sort those out also and bag those up so I can continue to use it. In a minute, probably next month, I'll start doing my little seedlets, plant my seeds, create my seedlets from my garden. Spring will be here, even though we haven't had real winter yet, but spring will be here and I'll be growing that indoors. I'll be starting my herbs indoors. So we're going to move over into my wet ingredients. So I did introduce you this product on last week for you guys that were with me, and this is a plant-based. It has the thickness of like a whole milk. I like cooking with it because of that consistency it has. But the flavor, if you go in thinking or knowing that it's a plant-based, then you'll be like, okay, it tastes like that. But if you're just going in with your cereal or something else, or you're pouring it into like your tea or something, you don't really tell. You can't really tell. So go with it. So I'm going to go ahead with my wet, and I'm just going to pour that in to the bowl, and I'm going to pour it in enough so they can get coated. Now you can purchase 3 of these in a pack at Costco for about $8 or $9, which is a steal in itself. All right, so know that if you want to go ahead and get that. So this is my wet, and this is my dry. So I'm going to take my oyster mushroom. Beautiful thing. You see that? So just start in your head. Start envisioning and imagining, once I bread this up, how it will look like a chicken breast, or parts of chicken on a sandwich. So you want to get that concept and that ideal in your head. And I'm going to do it twice. I'm going to wet it. I'm going to dry it. I'm going to wet it. And I'm going to dry it. Now, before I do that, I have my non-GMO cooking spray. And you know, I had to use this last week. Keep spraying, let it settle, spray and settle, because I didn't get the colloidal oil But I did buy some, but I don't use it oil. Somebody was like, just cook it in the air fryer. You don't have all that oil. Now, I've never used this, but from my understanding, for best result, you want to go ahead and spray. I believe. If I'm wrong, please let me know. You out there watching this stuff, if I'm doing this wrong at any time, let me know. This is my first attempt. Now, you know I'm not scared or ashamed to have bloopers. I'll let you see everything just how it T.I. is. I guess I'm doing that right. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. That's why I'm only doing one oyster mushroom right now, because they cost so much. And if I mess this up, then I'll just do the old-fashioned way and put the grease in the frying pan and fry it up like that. So I put that on. Now, from the instructions, says you put air fryer, you push that button. You go to temperature, push temperature, and then you dial it to the temperature you want, which is 380 degrees, not the 425 or 450. So I'm going to go to 380, which is a little strange cooking temperature for me. I'm not used to 380 temperature. And it said 10 minutes. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it for 20 minutes. And we're going to start it there. And then I'll look at it periodically and see how it does. But I think I need to flip it halfway through. So we'll find out. So I'm pushing start. I think you let it heat up and then it tells you to add the food. So while that's going on, I'm going to go ahead and start to do my wet dry. So I'm just going to get the mushroom nice and wet. And then after that, I'm just going to go ahead and put it in my dry and use my dry hand. And I'm going to try to coat all this flavorful seasoning in between the little nooks and crannies of the mushroom. Now, with the oyster mushroom, you want to be very careful, because you don't want to break apart the parts of the mushroom, all right? So I think I got a pretty nice coated. So I'm going to go in with my wet again, right? Because this is how you do it when you're making your fried chicken. And I told y'all before, I don't know how to make fried chicken. I've tried, I failed. I've asked my mom. I still don't go back and try it again. I'm going to stick with what I do know how to do, and that's vegan and vegetarian dishes. You know, I do a nice chicken breast. A nice stuffed chicken breast, chicken leg, thighs, and all that. But fried chicken, if it's not baked, then I can't fool around with it, because I am going to mess it up. And I'm just keeping it real and being honest with you. So, it is looking coated very well. I want to get in little crevices there. Make sure all of that nice flavor is down in there. So, I think that's coated pretty nicely, right? Now, look at that. It went from being a mushroom to a chicken. Woo! Yes, it's going to be good. You know how it's going to be good? Because I made this recipe before, and it turned out fabulous. I even allowed for my sister to try it, and she enjoyed it. So, I don't know. I don't know if it's ready or time for me. Oh, it said add food. There we go. There we go. Thank you for letting me know. First time using my air fryer, and I'm about to put this in. Just one piece at a time. I don't want to mess up all my mushrooms. So I'm just going to drop this in. It's a very large food. I'm going to put it in the front. Like, I probably could put about 6 or so pieces of chicken if I was cooking chicken. The same thing for mushrooms. So I'm going to let that go for about 5 or 6 minutes on one side. And then I'm going to turn it over to the other side for another 5 or 6 minutes, and I'm gonna see how that's gonna turn out. Now, I don't want you to wait this whole time, and you know, if it's a blooper, it's a blooper. I'll bring it back to you if it's a yay or a nay, however it goes. But I don't know if I want you to wait the whole time to cook, but maybe so, because I'm about to do these other little ones here. I'm gonna go ahead and put those in, and those would be like the little wingettes, right? The little drumettes that you guys be buying, but they're just vegan style, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and coat that up, and then I have another nice little piece there, and I'll put that in there. This is our vegan chicken for the new year. We're gonna have a lot of people trying vegan dishes, and I'm bringing it to you free, unfiltered, uncut, and just from, you know, the girl down the street. They're just trying to eat healthy, live healthy, and to get you to change up for 2021. All right, so that was my first coating. I'm going back in like you do regular chicken. And I'm going to put it in my wet again. And I'm going to put it in the dry. And I'm going to coat it. All right, just coat it with this little mixtures of seasonings. And then I go back in. This is the other piece. This is not that same piece I just took out, but this is a different piece. And I'll put that back in. And I'm going to coat that one. So these are be my little, wingdings that you guys buy from the restaurant. So that's what I'm calling it, little wing things. That's what it is. And then the last little piece here, coat it with the wet. And then coat it with the dry. All right, so far this is going really quickly. So far we are at what is it, 18? So it's 2 minutes off. I had it on 20. So it's already been cooking for 2 minutes in the air fryer, and I'm gonna let this sit since that's been cooking. And once I take that out, these will be my other test ones, just to see if I need to play around with the temperature of the time. So what I'm going to do, if you have some mushrooms at home, i.e. if you have some oyster mushrooms, I'm going to go ahead and go off, and then I'll come back on with the finished product. But if you have some mushrooms, go ahead and do this. Try out your air fryer or your deep grease with me, and let's just have this beautiful, delectable sandwich, vegan fish sandwich that I'm going to finish off with that vegan coleslaw that I made earlier. Now I did cheat on the fries, because I was out and about, so I stopped at Five Guys and I picked up their fries, which is cooked in peanut oil. But yeah, I just saved a little time in this whole little meal because we haven't eaten dinner yet. So I'm sorry, but I'm gonna give you some time. I'm gonna go off, and then I'll be back on the finished product, and you can go ahead and cut you up some potatoes. Keep the skins on. Keep the skins on your potatoes, and you go ahead and do that. And in the meantime, I'm going to change gloves. So again, thank you for sharing your time, your life with me. I appreciate it. I love the fact on a Sunday you set aside a couple of minutes to see what I am doing. So as always, until I see you in short minutes later, enjoy. I love you. No one else said that to you. And thanks again, Facebook. See you very soon.